Welcome to the MULTIVAC podcast, the place for the food industry to get the answers to their most frequently asked questions. Brought to you by the market-leading process and packaging machinery business, MULTIVAC. Each episode, we're hosted by a team of industry experts, so sit back, grab a coffee and join us for our next discussion.
So, welcome to the episode 3 of the MULTIVAC podcast, here again. Unfortunately, Elliot's not here. So whoever, is tuning in just to hear Elliot or see Elliot, disappointment, sorry.
Bad luck.
Sorry. I'll just introduce everyone here. So I'm Chris. I was in episode 1. I think I was ejected for episode 2. Maybe it was performance. Who knows? But invited back. So we've got some other people here as well. So I'll just introduce yourselves as we go around. So Karl.
Yeah, so I'm Karl Jones, and I'm the processing product manager for MULTIVAC UK. So we look after everything at the front end that effectively grinds, mixes, processes onto packaging.
Nice.
I'm Sam Telling. I'm marketing executive at MULTIVAC UK, and I am responsible for holding all of these people here today.
Yeah, thanks,
Excellent, excellent. And we've got a guest with us today as well. So this is Philip. Do you want to introduce yourself, Philip, and what you do?
Hi, I'm Philip Pearce. I'm a vegan restaurateur and cookbook author based in Bath.
Very nice. Excellent. So do you want to give us just a quick overview of, how long you've been a vegan, maybe why you became vegan, what was the driving force behind becoming vegan, and just give us an insight into yourself.
Personally, I've been vegan for nearly 30 years. I worked on a farm as a child and was into cooking and learnt about it, vegan diets at school, and it just all sort of fell into place like that. Really just loved to cook and loved fresh food.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wow.
That's how it started.
And so have you seen, so obviously you in your cafe, it's all vegan products, yeah?
Yes. Freshness is important for us, freshness of food. With a lot of vegan products, as I said to you off mic, you've got to pick the right products. There's some really good mass-produced products out there. There's also some not so good. So, yeah, the industry's getting there.
Yeah, and I feel that the industry is getting there because they are enticing a lot more people to go vegan, to go plant-based, and even have, meat-free Tuesday, meat-free Thursday, things like that. I think that is becoming a more often thing that's happening in homes. Okay, so one of the things that the podcast, or we decided to sort of base the podcast around, was we did a taste test last week in MULTIVAC UK, and as I said, we got a load of products in, cooked them up, and invited some of the staff to come and taste them. So the first one that we'll go through is the sausages. So we bought in a lot of sausages. We've got some, Sam's going to show some packs there that we got in. So this brand.
This isn't pork sausages.
This isn't pork sausages. I also like the branding and the labelling on vegan and plant-based products. I think they're a lot more in your face, more vibrant.
Bit of humour.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially we'll show later, I think, have we got a packet of the La Vie?
Yes, we do.
When you pull, I don't know whether you've noticed, when you pull the pack out, there's a message in the cardboard sleeve underneath.
Yeah,
it's quite amusing, but yeah, it's so they are very vibrant, very colourful in your face. So what were the results for the sausage taste testing, Sam?
The one that came up top was this sausages.
Okay.
This isn't caramelised onion. It isn't pork caramelised onion sausages. They were really enjoyed by everybody, to be honest. They cooked well. They tasted good. And then the runner-up was the Huera Spanish chorizo sausages, which
that was nice.
I think we were all a bit surprised by that, weren't we?
Yeah,
So the texture of chorizo is something that's pretty difficult to replicate.
They were popular in the office, were they?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah, my standout favourite was this isn't pork sausages.
That's what I had for dinner last night.
Is it really?
And that wasn't set up either. Philip actually brought that pack in just to show us that would be his favourite, and we can agree with him, can't we?
Absolutely,
Definitely.
Because you liked it as well, didn't you, Karl?
I did. I'm predominantly a meat eater,
Yes.
And I don't
Yeah.
eat very many vegan products. But yeah, I did enjoy
You'd eat
those.
those again.
I would. Yeah, I would. And part of the draw to them as well, I think, is it says on the front 75% less saturated fat than real pork. I mean, that's not to be ignored.
No, exactly. And so that was so I was took the role of chef and cooked them on our grill.
We're all still here.
We're all still here.
We survived.
Which is surprising, honestly. But that was one of the things that surprised me was the fat content that came out of some of the burgers, some of the sausages. I don't know whether I just thought, well, it's a plant-based product. There's going to be no fat, or there's going to be nothing that sort of drip loss comes from it.
Well,
I don't know.
It's funny you say that because I think some of them use coconut milk, like lumps of coconut milk as the fat.
Yeah, they're trying to work on the mouthfeel more. I think
That's
why
right, and
that's
then-
why they've improved in the last couple of years. I think.
Yeah, and as you know, as soon as you heat that coconut milk, it melts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it gives off the impression that it's fat. So, and I think that's where some of our processing kits come along a long way as well. In that, what you put in the front end in terms of those particles, you want to be able to get out of the back end.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And that's where the machinery producers are working. Well, we work with Risco, obviously, and the meat pump that we use treats the product very gently so that you get the same texture out the other end. And
Yeah.
I think that's very important to the consumer that it has a good texture.
And because Lascar have done work on the paddles as well, haven't they?
Yeah,
With
in
different
terms
paddle
of mixing,
configuration with mixing.
Intermeshing paddles,
Yeah.
all of that sort of thing. So,
Interesting.
yes.
What about the casing though? Because a few people from the office commented on the casing for the sausages, especially the chorizo ones. It didn't look too appealing when it first started to cook, did it?
So yeah, I think with the sausages, obviously because it's plant based, I think it's more of a synthetic casing. So obviously, meat sausages have a natural casing on it. They've got a sort. I think the producers are trying to mimic that bite feeling when eating a sausage,
Yeah.
and I think going with a synthetic. But I would agree when cooking certainly the Huera sausage, it looked a bit strange, like the casing was peeling off it. But I suppose once you've cooked it, it's as long as you don't cook it, you don't see what's happening and you just eat it.
All goes down the same hole.
Exactly, yeah, you know. But yeah, I think that is a big thing is looking at the casing, the processing, and that side of it.
You should try and imitate that almost crunch of a real sausage.
Yeah,
And that's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah,
with,
that's true,
When you haven't
actually.
got meat, that's a very difficult thing to.
I mean, there was one that was I can't remember the name of it now, but it was mainly just filled with vegetables, so it had beans in it and whole beans and things like that. And I actually really, really like that. So it's a sausage or a cylinder, you know, filled with
like
vegetables. But it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice that the veg wasn't all, you know, or processed or mulched up. And
A combination of the two would be nice.
yeah.
I was just going to say, so that what you're talking about there is like an actual vegetarian sausage, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not like a meat alternative sausage.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah.
two different sort of areas, isn't there? Like,
Yeah, I guess as well you get some more flavours from ones like that too. Because there was some that we tried that were just plain pork, well, imitating plain pork, and they were just too bland, really. Obviously, this is like caramelised onion, Spanish chorizo, so offered quite a bit more flavour. But yeah, some of them were a bit dry, weren't they?
And there was one that was I can't remember the name of it, but there was one that was it was as if the mixture had been processed way too much, so it had been ground down way too much. And it just didn't have any texture. It didn't have any taste. It was just
almost
horrible.
becomes like a
A
hot
couple
dog
of people
texture.
spat that one out, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of it, but yeah, it was. Yeah, that was plain horrible. But
We won't
Good
be
job.
mentioning that brand.
Good job, you can't remember the name of it, really.
yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it, even if I did remember. But
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
I think from a packaging perspective, though, I mean, both of these two look pretty good, don't they? They'd like both stand out on supermarket shelves, I'd say.
In
Yeah.
terms of the branding.
Yeah, I
think
think so.
A big thing to take
Different.
away from this is they just look like they're packaged like normal sausages.
Yeah,
So the equipment used to package these things doesn't change from meat to non-meat.
yeah, definitely.
And to process as well. So
And while I think that so this brand, I find that it's clever what they've done, so they can use this on everything. So this isn't, and then the product after it.
yeah.
I also find it annoying as well
Yeah.
because when you're talking about this, people are going, yeah, but what are you talking about?
Yeah, we had that.
No, the brand
It's
this.
clever.
Yeah, but what? So yeah, it's good, and I also find it annoying as well.
Yeah.
It needs to be memorable, I guess.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
true.
and they've done some very good social media campaigns.
Okay.
They did. So they've had a lot of criticism from or Piers Morgan. They've done a lot of criticism.
That's an endorsement, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
They must be doing well.
of plant-based products, and I know that the CEO of this had an ice sculpture of Piers Morgan made, and he wheeled it to Leicester Square, and when they unveiled or launched their frozen products,
Wow.
and it was
Excellent.
it got a lot of traction on social media because it was Piers Morgan life size frozen, and yeah, they were launching their frozen range.
Was that the one that he threw in the bin
Yes.
on TV?
Yeah, that was
Right,
it.
okay.
And
Really?
that was it, Karl. That
He
was it.
threw it in the bin.
Definitely, yeah.
I saw the CEO wrote that was the best thing that ever could have happened to
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
Wow.
And then he's latched on that now, and he sort of uses Piers Morgan in a lot of their campaigns. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Fair play.
perfect. So the second product that we tested were burgers. So we've got some samples here that we cooked up again. Again, I'm surprised by the oil or that came from them. I don't know why. Just sort of conditioned my head to there's nothing going to come from them. But yeah, we looked at these ones, and so we've got so in our ranking system, who was first and second?
Meatless Farm came up first, actually, which I don't know why, but I was surprised at that. I didn't expect
Yeah.
them to come first. Not too sure why. And then number 2 was Beyond Burger, which is obviously very well known, that one. Number 3 was Future Burger, which was one that was new to all of us, I think, wasn't
Yeah.
it, when we got that one? And then in 4th place, we had the Vegetarian Butcher with patty on the back.
Definitely, and I think that for me, so the Beyond Burger, I think from the marketing and the advertising, that was in my head before I tasted it was going to be my favourite. But I did like the Meatless Farm. It's sort of maybe equal. And then also I was not disappointed, but the taste of the Vegetarian Butcher, again, the marketing from them is very good.
Yeah.
And we actually met those guys at the Plant-Based World Expo in November last year, and tasted some of their chicken products, which were really nice as well.
Yeah, lovely. They had a great little stand, didn't they?
They did.
So have you tasted any of these?
Yeah, all of them.
Oh, nice.
I'm a dedicated product searcher. I always want to try something new.
And would you have a favourite out of these 4 that we've got here? So on the desk, we've got four packets with the burgers in it.
Yeah, I probably agree with you guys, actually. I think the Meatless Farm, the Beyond Burger, I usually cook if friends come around for barbecue or something like that, because I know that most of them won't even notice the difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I probably agree with you guys. The Meatless Farm seems to come in best, and followed by the Beyond Burger.
And the other thing I noticed when I was cooking them up as well is that they look like a burger, like a meat burger.
Yeah.
So you get, if you're doing it on a griddle, you get the lines, it colours up nicely, it looks tasty, it looks
juicy, doesn't it?
Looks
Yeah,
appetizing, yeah.
exactly, yeah. What did you think, Sam?
I think one thing that we all found is sort of the longer that it, I mean, it's probably like the same with most products, meat or not, but the longer that we sort of left it, the texture of it did start to go a bit almost rubbery.
Yeah.
After a
can't find
while. Yeah, so obviously, like, usually you just cook something and eat it straight away, but I guess if you were having something like a barbecue, you might sort of cook a load up, leave them on the side. But yeah, I think I'd agree, they all cooked up quite well. Obviously, this one, I think we were all a little bit dubious of to start with, just
So which
because
one's
of the
that?
look of it. The Future Burger.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, the packaging, nice bright green packaging, is quite sort of almost a bit futuristic, isn't it?
Stands out on the shelves, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Exactly.
does.
Yeah.
It's the future of burgers.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
the one thing
box.
I like about the Vegetarian Butcher as well, it's sort of from, ages ago, like an old
almost a bit Art
school
Deco,
butcher.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sort of appeals to me as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love their branding. It does. It's nice.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we did as well last week when we were tasting them, so Sam got some vegan mayo, and we got some.
How'd you get on with that?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I was
Can't taste the
surprised
difference.
actually. No, we went for the
Everyone
Howman's
seems to be
one.
making it. Yeah, everyone seems to be making it these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had some buns and we whacked a burger in the bun, put a bit of vegan mayo on it, and yeah, it was tasty.
Yeah, we tried sort of both options, didn't we? Really? 'Cause obviously, when we went to the plant-based expo, we tried so much food from all the different.
Oh my goodness.
Not that I'm complaining.
Never wanted to eat a veggie burger again.
Yeah. But our thought was when we came out, we were like, oh, it's all really nice, but some of the burgers were in buns with relish and mayo and lettuce and all sorts of other bits, and it's sort of like, is it the burger that tastes nice, or is it because it's accompanied by a lot of other stuff that it sort of detracts from it not actually tasting phenomenal?
Yeah, you've got pickles, you've got relish,
Yeah,
you've got cheese,
yeah.
you've got
It
mayo.
all adds to it. So if you just eat it on its own, cook it up plain, does it still taste as nice?
I suppose
Yeah.
you don't normally just eat a beef burger on its own, do you?
No,
That also
it's
has
true.
mayo and
Yeah,
relish and everything.
yeah.
So
So
It's
do you
hard.
do burgers in your cafe?
Yes, we make them though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You make those, yeah. And obviously, then you'll have all the accompaniments, lettuce.
We do make our own sauces and
Yeah.
ketchups and
Nice.
brown sauce and make our own mayo and stuff like that. Great recipe in the cookbook. Like
Is there?
Yeah.
I keep glancing over. So for anybody that's listening and not watching, I keep glancing over at Philip's cookbook, and it's there's a picture on the front of pancakes, and it just looks absolutely delicious.
it does.
But yeah, I think I might need to get some afterwards. But yeah, one of what you mentioned, the World Plant-Based Expo. One of the things when we were tasting everything, so myself and Karl really liked vegan gin.
We did.
Really, really nice.
did.
I'd be keen to help you if you
Yeah, exactly.
I was glad we got the train there.
Yeah, exactly. And we also tried burgers when we were putting them in the buns with some of the vegan cheeses as well, sort of letting it melt a bit. And I think it is it's become a really good alternative. You know, we've got McDonald's who are doing plant-based burgers.
put some money behind it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Research.
Absolutely.
Exactly, and
That's what's happening.
you know, we spoke before we came in the room here, and you know, 3-4 years ago, who'd have thought McDonald's would have been?
I
pushing
never
that.
thought that would come out of my mouth.
No.
A vegan burger at McDonald's.
No, and then you just know that KFC are probably going to come out with a vegan chicken burger soon, and you know,
Burger King have done the same.
Burger
I
King
think
have
they've all
done the
got one
same.
now.
Yeah.
And it is a good alternative. And so one of the questions is, you know, you obviously you've been a vegan for 30 years.
Yeah.
You feel healthier. You feel
Yeah.
more vitalised.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No regrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
My parents still think it's a phase I'm going through.
30 years on. Wow.
after 30 years.
After 30
He'll
years.
come out of it soon.
Yeah. Being a
Don't
restaurant, being cookbook, still a phase. Yeah.
Excellent.
Should keep inviting you around for tea. Like, no, I'm not coming.
Yeah, don't cook me none of that vegan rubbish.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what's some of the ingredients, like typical ingredients that you'd put in the burgers that you make yourself? Like, are they sort of, obviously these are like meat alternatives.
Sure.
So the ones that you make, are they like sort of like what you said with sausages, like more vegetable burgers?
Yeah, we use brown rice and soy as a base, and then mushrooms and onions to give it. We try and keep it a veggie burger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not a meat alternative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a veggie burger. I think the longer you don't eat meat, the more you move away from the meaty flavour.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely.
So
Nice.
Okay.
That
So
was a
it's-
bit of a topic for
suppose-
us, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that is one of the things. It's like, yeah, it's a veggie burger or a bean burger. It's not a meat alternative. And I think what these are all meat alternatives, aren't they?
These are aimed at turning meat eaters into eating more
plant-based.
plant-based.
Yeah.
rather than
The long term,
vegetarians
yeah.
or rather than long term. Yeah, absolutely. The favourite one we found, or particularly I found, was a mushroom based.
I was just thinking that, yeah, when you said
I don't know
that. I
if you
think
can
it was the
remember that.
Heston one, wasn't it? Was it Heston?
I had a picture of
Blumenthal?
Heston on the stand.
Yeah, I
is
think
it what
it was,
he does a vegan burger, doesn't he?
I think so, yeah. And that was, yeah, there was all sorts of mushrooms going on there.
Yeah, but everything they made was
Don't remember
mushroom
that one.
based.
Wow.
I don't think Heston's affiliated with it. I think it was just.
Oh, that was just a bit
Not
of...
Simplicity Foods, is it?
It could have been. I can't
Potentially.
remember.
They make a cracking burger.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they did.
Which is
You
mushroom-based.
definitely remember that. There was almost like a pulled chicken thing.
Ah,
as
they
well.
made
Oh,
Beef.
yes.
like a barbecue
Yes.
Yeah.
beef
Yeah.
sort of. Oh, that was really
That
nice.
was out of mushrooms.
Was that before or after Gordon Ramsay?
That was before.
Good old Gordon. Yes.
So that brings us on nicely from burgers onto the sliced cheese that we tasted at MULTIVAC last week. So we've got, do you want to run through which ones we've got in front of us here, Sam?
Yeah, so we've got Wicked Kitchen, coconut oil alternative to smoked Gouda, like cheese slices.
Nice.
We've got the Cathedral City large sandwich slices, Applewood smoked vegan slices, and the Via Life also smoky cheddar flavour slices.
So the first thing that hits me is that, so the Applewood one looks like cheese.
Yes,
Because
I-
you've got the flavour on the edge of the cheese where it's been sliced, and it looks more like cheese. I don't really know what that opinion's based from, but it looks more like cheese.
But that's how the consumer sees it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like real life. You look at it on the supermarket shelf and you think, well, that looks like cheese. I might try that. But it was nice.
And do you use vegan cheese in your cafe?
Yes, we've just introduced Applewood. I was a bit reluctant at first, thinking it was a bit too, fake product, but it's been very, very popular. We sell 10 burgers to every one of our beautiful homemade cashew cheese. So yeah, the customer's right. So we've kept up with it. Yeah, I think it's a good product. It melts really well.
Do you think that's based on them looking at the menu and seeing that it's got Applewood cheese on? So they
Yes,
choose that
yeah.
one rather
we
than yours?
mentioned that it's Applewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they might not necessarily know the difference in taste between yours and theirs. They're just choosing it because they're seeing it on the menu and
yes.
going, actually, we want
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about how it melts, I wonder? Like, are people more likely to eat it when it's sort of melted on a burger as opposed to like a slice like that?
Like
'Cause
straight
a
out the
couple
packet.
of them, like, I'm not going to lie, the Via Life, some of them, they look a bit plasticky, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be a bit sceptical about putting some cheese on toast and seeing how it melts. I mean, the limited testing we did, so we put some of the cheese slices onto the burgers that we tested, and yeah, it does taste, or feels different than a regular slice of cheddar, but it was still tasty.
And when you cook it in the cafe, do you find that you get the crispy edges like you would with normal cheese?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because that's the bit that gives
Yeah.
you the
Nice.
flavour, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
It melts nicely.
Yeah.
Finish it in the oven.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Good.
But yeah, so one of the ones so I've tasted as well that we haven't got here is have you heard of Shees?
Yes, that's one of the old school
Yeah.
from back in the day sort of cheeses.
So they're Bute Island Foods that manufacture those.
Is that in, that's up in
Bute-
Orkney, isn't it?
It's on Bute Island.
Bute Island, yeah.
Again, supposedly mention it because it's a MULTIVAC customer. But yeah, I've tasted theirs, and I like that one as an alternative to regular cheese. But yeah, it's I think that balance of getting one that does taste okay, and then there's no sort of in the middle. It's then to the other side of the spectrum where it is just feels plastic.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of not quite there yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Going on to the processing side of it, it's exactly the same as processing normal cheese.
Is it?
Yeah, you mix it, you put whatever ingredients you want into it, you vacuum fill it into into a slice and log, and then it goes through a slicer.
Yeah.
You could do that you could produce that on a normal ham line or a normal cheese line.
So you could, you'd just and you'd be able to create wedges or blocks,
Yeah, create
or
whatever
slices.
flavours you like, absolutely.
Wow.
I guess is the main ingredient change there just to coconut oil then with most of them, or?
Is it coconut oil?
Yes, generally, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just trying to mask the flavour of coconut. That's one thing about being a vegan. Everything tastes of coconut.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Don't be vegan if you don't like coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess vegan cheese is that obviously going to be a lot healthier then than regular cheese, or? 'Cause that's one thing that's come up, isn't it? Sort of, are vegan processed foods, are they healthier than the meat alternatives, or?
Sometimes, but not always, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, and I've seen some studies and some costings. At the moment, I think it's a lot more expensive to manufacture and process
Vegan
products.
Right, that's interesting.
And one of the curves that I had seen, that by about 2025, 2026, then there'll be parity between regular meat products or non-vegan products and the vegan products in the cost that it is to manufacture it. I know, speaking to one of our customers, Pilgrims, that manufacture the bacon, sliced bacon, they were saying that the cost per loin or log of bacon is far higher.
Log of bacon.
Yeah, than your standard loin of pig. You know, it is a lot more expensive, and that's why when you talk to customers that are processing vegan products, the yield, the giveaway, these sort of metrics are a lot more important for them than, say, your normal meat producers.
So why will it reach parity in a couple, 3 or 4 years time?
Just with the cost of ingredients, the way that there's more. I think there's more focus on growing the plant-based ingredients. The additives that go into it, I think that they think that the cost of those will come down.
I guess the more you use, you get the economies of scale, and
and if you've got more people that are plant-based, more people are buying it. There's more money going into it, so then there's more investment into the processing and the MPD.
Sure.
And then, like I say, it always amazes me that somebody can predict that this will be parity, and we'll hit this point and we'll hit that point. And
it's talking confidently.
Exactly. It's if you can talk confidently, anyone will believe you.
Yeah, true.
I suppose.
I know that too well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one thing with these is a lot of them are well-known brands already, aren't they? Like, we've got Applewood, we've got Cathedral City. I think people are probably more likely to pick up a brand that they trust.
Yeah, feel comfortable with it.
Yeah,
Hellman's mayonnaise,
exactly. Yeah. Whereas some of the burgers and sausages, for example, I mean, you've got a couple of brands that are known, but a lot of them are pretty new on the market. So if you've not tried anything from them before, you've got no reason to trust that they're going to be good, really, have you?
No, exactly. And that's a really good point, because like I said, with the burgers, I think Beyond Burger, Beyond Meat, they're very, the marketing is really good. They're in your face. You know, you sort of look at a shelf of burgers and you go, oh yeah, I've heard about those ones before. We were talking about this before. You know, it's companies having a share of the voice and how they put that out there. Do they get more market share because they put more marketing into it, more advertisements? You know, like we said with this and Piers Morgan, you know, do they now get more sales because they've aligned themselves to ridiculing Piers Morgan? You know,
Probably.
Probably.
I would say absolutely, yeah.
So it's that, and yeah, if I was going to pick a cheese, I'd probably go for that straight away if I didn't know any of the taste of any of them, because it's Cathedral City.
Because of the brand.
Sorry, I just pulled the packet there and realised that, you know, you can't see it. So yeah, it's Cathedral City, and I know that as a brand. I like their cheese, their regular cheddar cheese, so I would probably go with that one. But should you explore?
No, I do the same, to be honest. I usually eat lacto-free cheese, to be fair.
Do you?
And Cathedral City you've bought one out, and I usually I go for that just because it's Cathedral City.
You know
Yeah, it's a trusted brand.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're following cheese with the sliced meat alternatives. So we've got some packs in front of us here. So we've got no ham deli slices, finely sliced ham. What's this one here? Milano salami. And what's that one over by you, Sam?
NYC pastrami.
NYC. So we tasted these as well in the office, and what was the general feeling of these ones, Sam?
They didn't go down too well, I've got to be honest. I think it was mainly just the texture and the taste. Do you know what I mean? NYC.
Maybe just generally everything.
Generally the whole product.
Are we going with the look as well?
I think that... So I think... It's just a hard thing to replicate, isn't it? Especially something like salami and pastrami. It's difficult.
So the key difference is texture, is it?
I think so, yeah. Especially sort of. I mean, I think you can tell from looking at this.
You can see that one.
This NYC pastrami, yeah. It just doesn't look. Usually, you see sort of like the streams of like fat and things in a cooked meat, don't you?
Yeah.
And that does look pretty flat. And the texture. I mean, I think you can tell from looking at this one. It's the squeaky bean one for reference, but you can tell from looking at it, it just doesn't look the same as what a regular meaty NYC pastrami would look like.
I mean, I would say that the salami looks similar to a salami. It's got some peppercorns in it. It's got some different textures in it.
Different colours.
And that one, I thought, it tasted okay. It was okay, you know, as a meat alternative. I think I would stick to proper salami, but it was okay. And what do you think about the look and how it looks, Philip?
I think they seem to have got the look almost right, but I think the key thing is getting the flavour right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Because I know that a lot of these companies, they are doing a lot of MPD with trying to get the fibrous element of them. So, you know, regular meat, that it tears, it has that texture when you tear it.
What, like this corn one here, you've got.
Yeah,
it's got bamboo shoots. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think they, you know, a lot of them are looking at bamboo shoots. A lot of them are using pea fibres. Again, to take it back, I know that a lot of these companies have looked at different paddle configurations with the Lascar equipment.
Absolutely, yeah.
And because it was, if I remember rightly, it was all about the swirls and how the meat is, you know, when it's mixed. It gives a certain swirl if you've got a Z-arm or if you've got intermeshing, things like that. And it gives it a different look and feel to the slice.
If you mix it too much, it almost becomes emulsion.
Yeah,
And then
some of them have looked like that.
Exactly, and it looks like a pre-formed ham, you know, like a regular ham.
Well, that's that. To take it back, that's how I think that they've mixed that sausage too much, and it's like an emulsion, and it was just.
It creates almost like a hot dog sausage.
Yeah, it was
traditional hot dog sausage.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of these. I mean, this ham sliced. Maybe it's because it's finely sliced, but some of them fall down that doesn't look very attractive in the packet as it is. So some of them are obviously laid down in the packet, so sort of shingle nicely onto each other, don't they? But some of them just don't look. I mean, it doesn't look like you'd be able to get a full slice out of that one. If you pulled it away, it looked like it would maybe crumble.
And I think the other way that it's going as well. So for the people that are listening, so in front of us we've got 2 plastic packs from Quorn, and then we've got 3 formed paperboard packs as well. And I think and obviously if Elliot was here, he'd be going into it in very.
He's got a lot of statistics for us. Bless him.
Great. So Elliot.
Sorry, Elliot.
Yeah.
How do you know Elliot?
He's in our materials department, and he's been on the previous 2 podcasts, and yeah, he would talk about recyclability, sustainability, circular economy, compostable, all of these kind of things, and. We learn a lot from him, you know. So the Quorn one here, because it's a peel reseal and it's got a laser score around it, we know that if the lid stays on the pack, that pack is fully recyclable. But I think what the impression I get with plant-based or vegan companies is if they have a paperboard, it looks better for them. It looks that they're more interested in the environment, more sustainability.
Yeah, I guess if you had 2 products you'd never tried before next to each other, you'd probably pick the one perhaps that looked more recyclable.
Yeah.
It also looks more premium.
I was about to say that. I think in comparison between the 2, it looks more high end, doesn't it? Obviously, some of that might also be the design that's actually on it, but it looks a bit more.
Because I think that, you know, that again, I've learned this from Elliot, is that if you've got this, so when I say a laser score, you've got a fine laser score here, and when you open that up, you get there's a sort of a
like a perimeter.
Perimeter around it, and if you don't take the lid completely off, then that is fully recyclable.
Curbside.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did not know that till now.
But it does look more premium to have the paperboard, and also the paper on board as well. So the skin, what's it called? You know, with the skin packs and things like that, they look more premium as well.
Skin on board, yeah. They certainly do. So you touched on sustainability there, and I think a lot of veganism, new veganism, if that's what you call it, it is to do with sustainability as well.
Environment.
Absolutely. So Yeah, and I think a lot of people will be interested to know how these ingredients are sourced as well from a sustainability point of view.
Definitely.
And that's the sort of thing that we do at our event in Swindon, our Oktoberfest. So we work with our ingredients partners. We have the machinery there, and we can, well, like our last one, we came up with a formulation for vegan sausage rolls. So we worked with an ingredients partner. We had our equipment, our bowl choppers, we had our fridge equipment, and we made vegan sausage rolls.
That was it. And didn't you also make vegan burgers as well?
We made some vegan burgers as well, and we tasted them and
yeah.
and we ate them, and they were good.
They were. They were actually.
They were good.
So we I can't remember who was the ingredients supplier.
It was Ingredient we used last time.
Yeah. So we got them to come in. We had a bowl chopper and they supplied the ingredients. We mixed it all up. And then we put it onto the Risco. Was it the RS4 series?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then we formed the burgers, and then we put them in the oven, and it was they tasted quite nice actually.
You've got full traceability then, haven't you? On where your ingredients are from. Are they sustainably sourced all the way through right to the pack?
Yeah, definitely. And we've, on the subject of the sustainability, we do a lot of work on reducing carbon footprint. Can we reduce the cost to the customer by changing from an air lifting system to an electrical servo lifting system? So there is, and it all links in to sustainability and sourced reliability.
I think that's important in vegan products.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of the sliced meats, I guess, do you find yourself using sliced, obviously not meats, but meat alternatives in your cafe merch, in your restaurant?
Never.
No, that's...
No,
so, I mean, it's not... It doesn't seem to be as much of a popular sort of meat alternative product, does it? I don't know whether it's still growing or...
Nobody comes in for a pastrami sandwich.
No, exactly. You don't really, do you?
They do.
You just
you just have to send them somewhere else.
Send them to Subway.
Yeah.
And then we've got some meat-free bacon as well, haven't we? We've got the La Vie that we mentioned earlier. With I think this might be my favourite packaging, this one.
Yeah, so obviously it tells you that it's made from plants, not from ass. So yeah, that makes us chuckle.
Bacon's a huge market in the UK, isn't it, as well?
Absolutely
huge.
Yeah, and so you've also got some there from Richmond as well, which is manufactured on our processing or production line, the slicer and the thermoformer. And I think they do a streaky and a back bacon version of it. And I've actually tasted that one, and that one is really nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing for me, a fake bacon sandwich.
Oh no, that's what I meant. It's such a touchy thing for.
So when you cook it, the look of it, with a bit of proper back bacon, pork back bacon, you get the curl where the rind is, it's cooking and things like that. That one, I think if you cooked it and then put it into a sandwich really quickly so you didn't see it, then it's all right.
The lights in the kitchen were off.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It would taste all right because I've watched the process of that one in the factory. So they process it, they extrude it, they then put it into a smokehouse and they'll smoke it.
Yeah.
And then they freeze it and then they bring it to the line to be sliced. And I would say that one, for me, I've tasted some of the other ones, and I think Sam referred to the La Vie one like, was it a fruit wind-up?
Yeah, fruit winder. Yeah, it just looks pretty flat, I guess, doesn't it?
So for me, the other alternatives to the Richmond one, they're too uniform. So you've got a slab of product.
Yes.
Let's cut it at 3 mil or 2.5 mil. And let's call it a piece of bacon because we've got a bit of white in there and a bit of...
This is bacon. I think it's got probably a good flavour, but it looks like a children's bookmark.
Yes, exactly.
It's too uniform.
Yeah. It's too straight around the edges. So
the whole philosophy or the idea with the MPD for Richmond was to get the fat contours and to get the fat in between the layers as well, but then also smoking it and trying to get that smoky taste to it as well. So yeah, I would. You'd
eat that again.
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I would.
Does it go crispy like normal bacon?
You can get it crispy.
You can?
Yeah, and it is a good alternative, I would say, to pork bacon. I don't think I would ever go away completely from pork bacon. But
I love a bacon sandwich.
I know.
I just
I
love
know.
a bacon sandwich.
It's
one
like, you
thing
didn't,
you can-
it's like you didn't want to admit that on the podcast. You
Oh,
said it
wow,
quietly.
Is that why you whispered it?
We might as well pick it up.
Yeah.
Sam loves a bacon sandwich.
There we go.
So yeah, and I think I think the bacon is getting there. I think the sliced meats.
Work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
for sure.
they've got a bit more to catch up, really. So one of the things that I always, I don't know, does it annoy me, bug me, is so when you look at plant-based products, they all refer to a meat name. So it's a no ham slice, or chicken free, or bacon, back bacon, streaky bacon. They call them sausages. So, I mean, it's just like a discussion point. Should they use those names? Should they have a different name? I heard there was government legislation. Certainly, I know we discussed it just briefly about the milk, but also about the sort of meat names. And, should these producers say it's a vegetarian cylinder instead of a sausage? That sort of thing.
What's a burger going to be called? A circle?
Yeah. A meat-free disc.
A meat-free disc?
And it's like, I suppose the question also is, you become vegan because you don't want to eat meat.
Sure.
But then why do you then...
Why are you still trying to eat meat?
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's how it...
I think it's a transition.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
hard to go from, it's eating meat fully and then start eating chickpeas and beans. It's a completely different diet. I think there's a bit of a transition period.
That's
I'd say.
strange. Yeah, that's a
a
good
good
point
point,
to touch on,
actually.
isn't it? Like
Yeah.
people that have eaten meat before, or children that are raised not to eat meat ever.
Yeah, because my daughter, she announced over Christmas that she was become a vegetarian, and my wife's brother, my wife's brother's girlfriend is vegetarian. So we said to my daughter, "Well, speak to Suzanne and get some advice from her." And she was saying, actually, she said, "Don't do it straight. Don't go from eating meat to eating no meat. Do it a couple of days each week and then sort of build it up as it
All
goes
or
along."
something rather than all or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no hybrid, is there? There should be a hybrid sausage, like half pork and half vegetable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a car, you don't go from
50-50.
petrol to all electric. You go hybrid first, right?
Exactly. That's a really good point.
There you go.
It's like an in-between stage.
In between sausage.
Yeah. I mean, just to update you as well, my daughter's vegetarianism, it lasted for about 5 days.
Bit like
she
mine.
was-
Bit
yeah,
like mine,
Five days.
yeah, it was.
Bit like dry January for me. Then,
Yeah, she was committed. But yeah, and it is. I think there's the people that aren't vegetarian maybe ridicule vegetarian people or vegan people. Oh, why are you still eating, chicken? It says chicken. You still want to eat meat, all this kind of stuff. And it was just, it was something that's always maybe confused me or,
Yeah, I guess sometimes the people might argue that they're sort of trying to imitate this meat because some people do a bit of a 50-50 veganism, don't they?
Yeah.
Part-time vegan, if you want to call it. Can't remember what the actual name for it is, but then
I think flexitarian.
that's it,
Flexitarian.
flexitarian. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing.
It is a thing.
So maybe that's sort of for people that are still really just they don't want to be a vegan, but
Or
they're
trying
interested in
to,
trying
meat-free
it.
Monday, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And again, it's back to sustainability, isn't it? Like, people
yeah.
are doing that because they're worried about the environment.
Exactly, make an impact on
You know,
that.
exactly.
And then the other question, obviously, is, well, in this sort of cost of living crisis times that we're living through, is veganism cheaper? Is it healthier? Is it cheaper to start with, or is it more expensive? And then if it is more expensive, is it worth the health benefits to cross over into veganism? And I'm not sure. I think from what I've seen on supermarket shelves that the products at the moment are slightly higher in cost than your regular products.
Yeah.
But do the health benefits outweigh?
I wouldn't necessarily see them as a healthy alternative. I think you need to be moving towards eventually the plants and beans and pulses. They're
Vegetarian
really healthy.
diet.
Yeah, vegetarian diet. So transitional foods, and inviting friends around for barbecues, things like that. I think a lot of these products are.
It's a good point, actually.
Hangover sausage sandwich.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
I know we touched about it before. There's two elements here. There's vegetarianism, but then there's meat alternatives, like we touched before.
Yeah, I think we're saying vegetarianism, but it's like vegetable based, isn't it? Rather than meat alternative.
Yeah.
It's a strange one.
And we're saying that meat alternatives aren't as healthy as the
I
vegetarian.
think it's picking the right one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ones with pea protein now. I think it's just pretty healthy. But then again, your leading burger there has got lots of coconut fat in it. So is that healthy?
But then again, some of the meat products as well have come down in fat, and they're also not as bad.
They have come down in
to be.
fat, have they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can get 5%.
I'm guessing sausages
fat
aren't
mince.
really full of the best cuts, are they?
No.
Trust me, then. No.
Yeah.
We see it on a daily basis.
So we've covered a lot of points in today's episode, haven't we? So we've gone through the taste testing that we've done and the products. I think we've discussed a lot about packaging and the where the products are coming from, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And also about other things like mindful eating and is it cheaper and healthier. And I think it's been a great discussion, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I think so.
Yeah.
Learned some things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what I'd like to do is thank everybody for being here today, especially Philip. Could you just let people know where they can connect with you, how they can find you, how can they get hold of your amazing cookbook?
Green Rocket Cafe in Bath, near Parade Gardens. You'd probably be able to find that fairly straightforward. And our book is available online through Amazon, but preferably through our own website,
Of course.
www.thegreenrocket.co.uk. Lots of independent bookshops sell it as well as people like Waterstones, etc., etc.
I think you've just had a quick flick through it, haven't you, Sam?
Yeah, some delicious looking things.
Yeah.
It's,
Like
just try and focus on tasty food. That's where a lot of vegan restaurants go wrong. They're trying to be your doctor. We just try to make tasty food.
Yeah.
It's fresh. So nothing. It's not no rocket science in there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just tasty food.
Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, and just also to thank you for listening to episode 3. We'll be doing episode 4 soon, but thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks very much.